Welcome to the Ada Lovelace Global Hackathon Demo Day. This is a very, very exciting day for all of us here on the call and those joining on YouTube. I'm very grateful and very excited to be hosting today's Demo Day all the way from Vegas today. So I'm here joined by incredible judges and the finalists from the Ada Lovelace Hackathon. As you may already have heard, and you probably would have followed us the entire October, Ada Lovelace was one incredible first female programmist, and we are happy to celebrate her because we definitely would like to encourage more young women to embrace the world of technology and join us on this very exciting journey where technology is shaping the world, and we would definitely love them to be able to have this opportunity to shape technology. So as a host today, my role is to really ensure that everyone is comfortable presenting their projects. So the projects will be presented recorded, but we do have every team on the call, and they will be receiving some questions from the judges. We have several judges with us today, and I will be welcoming very shortly. And before I do this, I wanted to share my screen because there is a brief trailer that I wanted to show you. It's very difficult for me to describe what has been happening in every single location, but I will do my best, and I cannot possibly do justice, but I will at least show you what has been happening in Syria as the campaign was going on. So, and before I show you the trailer, I really wanted to thank all of the incredible sponsors and everyone who made this event happen. We've had JSK who joined us as platinum sponsor, so we're very grateful. Emma today is on the call to also judge the Global Demo Day. We've also had the pleasure working with NVIDIA, who have been very generous in also providing us with vouchers to almost every finalist to continue their journey in AI. So we will definitely hear from Alison, who will be closing this demo day. And we've also had the pleasure to work with Sage. And I'm at the moment in Vegas, where I will be presenting and talking about AI for good and tech for good tomorrow as part of the Keynote talk with Aaron Harris, who's the CTO of Sage. And I cannot wait to tell the world about who the winning team will be from this very long campaign. But briefly then, the campaign ran from the 2nd to 17th of October, and this took place in almost 20 countries around the world. And I'm very excited that this time we've also been joined for the first time from Tanzania, where the hackathon was happening in the local Swahili language. And I don't know of any other hackathons that have happened in that language. So I was very excited when I was told that the language chosen for the hackathon is Swahili. In France, we had the hackathon happened for the third time in French as well. The very first time we've had a hackathon happen in Italy, also in Italian. In UAE, the hackathon had a physical demo day at one of the largest conferences in the Middle East, GITEX, and we have the team here represented as well. We've also had a hackathon happen in Hong Kong for the second time, and that hackathon was led by a teenager herself, Nicole. Hackathons in Palestine was happening in Bethlehem University and was also led by university students for the second time. In Azerbaijan, the hackathon was happening virtually. Across also lots of cities have joined and a lot of teenagers and mentors participated in that hackathon. In India, we've had the hackathon happen for the second time, and again almost 50 or 60 teenagers, most of them were female, have joined to participate. In Pakistan, as maybe some of you know, we've had floods and electricity cuts as a result, and at some point I lost Amna, who's a teenager herself, and lead organizer for the hackathon in Pakistan. We thought it wouldn't happen, but despite all the floods and the challenges they've had, we still had the hackathon happen over 3 days. And probably the most challenging ones have taken place in Syria and Palestine, where again, electricity sometimes just wasn't inexistent for more than 6 or 7 hours. So every single region that we have tried to reach this time have had their own challenges, and despite this, we had such an incredible opportunity to see teenagers in all of these locations learn about AI ethics, about design thinking, learning entrepreneurship skills, and finally pitching their projects first locally. We then had a semi-finalist round where the top teams from each country have been judged by our global judges in semi-finals. And now finally we're here where we can show you what really has been going on and the real highlight. So what we've tried, we've attempted to impact about 50 or 60 teenagers in each location. So almost 1,000 teenagers would have been learning about AI and AI ethics and how data science can be used for impact. The 3 sustainable development challenges we've chosen this time were climate action, life on land, and peace, justice, and institutions. So also very excited to have today somebody representing the United Nations, Nala, who you will hear from later on. But we always highlight the importance of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it was very exciting to see how young people, and most of them were female, have been tackling. So just the highlights, data from this hackathon. As I mentioned, we had 19 regions with lead organizers from each region leading on this project, and every lead organizer was supported by another group of volunteers, 5 or 6 volunteers each. So it's a massive endeavor, and it is not easy to organize a hackathon virtually or hybrid. The majority of the participants this year were female and non-binary. We've had 72 judges who committed their time, almost 300 mentors who have participated, and we've had more than 100 projects created as a result. And in terms of workshops, again, more than 90 workshops, and they were workshops in artificial intelligence and ethics in so many different languages as well. And almost 130 speakers came to inspire young people with all of their journeys and ways that they got into AI and tech. So it's, as I said, it's so hard for me to show you what has been happening in every single location, but we have had this incredible trailer sent to us from Syria, where the hackathon took place in person. We've only had the hackathons in person happen in Tanzania, in Syria, in Italy, and a couple of other locations. And most hackathons, due to the pandemic, have happened online. So let me share with you what has been happening in Syria. So that was just in one city in Syria, but we've actually had this happen in 5 locations in Syria, and it was just exciting to see that a hackathon like this could happen in a place where I didn't expect to happen at all. So the whole purpose of running these programs is for us to ensure that the next generation of AI technologists is diverse. And I think everyone here will agree how important this is, that we do not end up with white male only data scientists and AI technologies based in Silicon Valley or in the West, developing technology that potentially will be used by so many people around the world. So it's very important that we do bring this technology to the rest of the world and encourage young people from all parts of the world to participate and really learn and understand how this technology will shape their life and how they can participate successfully. So on this note, I wanted to now pass it over to the judges and introduce the judges, or better, ask each judge to turn on their camera and say hi to everyone and let us know what exactly you're looking for today. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to invite Emma to kick us off and say hi to us.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see you as well.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited, and I was really blown away by some of those statistics. As someone put in the comments, really very inspiring for our industry and an output for tomorrow. I guess, what am I looking for in our winning result, in our winning entry? I think obviously, creative and impactful uses of AI. I think we saw some amazing submissions throughout Heats, and that I've heard about where people have really thought about how to make something that is sustainable, has a thorough business plan attached to it, that's really usable and compelling for the end user, and that is really thought about its market at home and where it can be used and where we could maybe scale it. So really, really excited to see what people have come up with, and looking forward to being inspired by everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Emma. And next, Martina, could I perhaps invite you to turn your camera on and unmute yourselves and say hi? Martina, you're still muted.
Sorry, yes, I'm having issues with trying to turn the camera around. Let's see. I'm so sorry. Well, I can turn it around this way. Yeah. Can everyone see me?
Yes, now we can see you, okay. Martina. Yes, go for it. Hi.
Hi, so my name is Martina Serrada, and I'm with NVIDIA. I have been here for 20 years now, and it's been a very interesting journey. I am very happy that I've been asked to participate in this hackathon. I will say I had a delightful time going through all of the presentations. It was very interesting to me to just see the breadth of thinking in how everyone kind of chose and decided to go after the three areas of focus. So today, certainly some of the things that I know that I'm looking for in a winning entry. Number one, first and foremost, obviously, is how well the usage of AI is incorporated, but also, as mentioned before, certainly some depth of creativity, thinking outside the box, looking for how well detailed your proposal has been thought through, and sort of, from inception to the end point, right? And maybe not everything in between, but, just a good flow through. So yes, those are the things I'm looking for today. Well, good luck to everyone.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And next up, Jennifer. I know you're joining us from France, but we met very briefly in UAE, and I really wanted to hear from you as well. So Jennifer, next.
Perfect. I'm also extremely pleased to have been invited to judge the entries. Very excited to see how the different teams have addressed the specific sustainable development goals. Obviously looking for that creativity, the innovation in how they're addressing those goals and how they apply AI to the specific problems that they choose within those goals. looking at the design and the implementation, and as Martina said, really across the spectrum and that flow of the project. I'm also particularly interested in the commercial viability or the longer term viability of a project. I mean, we see a lot of projects that are exceptional, but are not themselves sustainable for a variety of reasons. So that's one of the things that I'm particularly interested in. There's, how are these projects, how can they be adopted by others? How can they be implemented? And how are we going to see them have a broader impact and build over time potentially?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jennifer. We also have Nala Valji joining us from New York. And Nala is the gender advisor at the Executive Office of the Secretary General at the United Nations. So happy you're here with us, Nala, today as well.
Thank you so much, Elena. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. I have to say, what I'm hoping to get out of today, first and foremost, is to learn. This is not an area that is familiar to me, so I'm really looking forward to being inspired, to learning from all of you, and really, really happy to see that linkage to the Sustainable Development Goals. I think that the solutions that we need for the global challenges that we're facing at this moment are going to come from innovators like we have here today. So really just looking forward to hearing innovative ideas, hearing big ideas that can have wide-scale impact, that can be taken to scale, and that can link back to our global agenda of the Sustainable Development Goals and really give us the solutions that we need in this moment. So really excited and looking forward to being inspired today.
Great, fantastic. So I know we are going to be joined by Susanna from Sage. She's a VP engineer, and she did let us know she will be slightly late, so she will make it on time for the beginning of the pitches. And before we listen to the incredible teams today, we have a closing keynote from a very, very special guest from NVIDIA, Alison Lowndes, who has joined us today to inspire you for the very last time before we get inspired by our team participants as well. So Alison, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Bear with me a second. I'll just share my screen. Can you see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So I'm talking to you from the UK. It's getting dark here and getting colder, but I wanted to just start by saying congratulations, and that's to everybody. I did a lot of judging offline, and actually more than I was meant to. Didn't follow the instructions very carefully, but that was wonderful because I got to see more of the work that all of the teams have done. And so congratulations to all of the global participants, to the teams, because I was so inspired and so impressed by all the ones that I actually saw, because to see such ability at such young age gives me, really great hope for the future. So, let's not let COP26 end. And I want to say to you all to keep learning and keep helping. But just a few things that I wanted to share with you. I'm lucky enough to have a job that I truly love, and it is a fantastic company. I get to work on artificial intelligence, or AI, applications, both in and from space. So these are applications like here, using the AI technique of super resolution to get rid of the blurs and to sharpen up all the data we have from the Apollo missions and more recent missions to help in the search for water on the moon in this case, and for landing sites, because we will be back on the moon in just 2 years, and we'll be there to stay. It will be to set up a permanent base. First, we'll send humans 2024. And then there's going to be a ton of robots that will help us to build that moon base. So, things like performing super resolution on imagery of the moon, as well as putting that capability on board satellites, is really, really important. And here on Earth, something called Earth observation, or write this one down, AI for EO, Earth observation. And that's where we actually take the data that we have from all of the satellites that we have in orbit, and all of the images that have been saved from over the years and years that we've had satellites in orbit. And we can use AI to help us to predict, in this one of hundreds of different cases, extreme rainfall. So giving this lady time to harvest her crop before it's wrecked, before it's ruined in a deluge of rain, up to 3 to 5 days notice we can do. This is what we currently hope for weather modeling. So when you get that weather forecast on your phone, basically it's it's pretty good. And NVIDIA is actually enabling this kind of capability. That far end, that's 1 kilometer at 1 minute. We don't have that yet, but we're enabling this, both with use of artificial intelligence techniques, but also something called exascale computing. And that's being able to perform trillions, bear with me a second, my slides are shoving on quicker than I'm talking, being able to perform mathematical operations, not trillions of times a second, but 10 to the 18 times a second. And that's a 10 with 18 zeros. It's hard enough just to write that down. But we already have computers that are actually capable of doing this. So, being able to predict to even greater accuracy the weather, because it isn't perfect yet and we can do better. But sufficient climate modeling is still decades away. Although we have historical data from thousands of years ago from ice cores, we can't yet accurately predict at high resolution. We hope for weather to be able to look at an area, say 1 kilometer square, but we actually need to see even closer to 100 meters square or even 1 meter square to get that, stratocumulus, the atmospheric coupling that we actually need. But you can, I'm not talking quick enough, I need to speed up. Basically, you can actually help this now. You can learn, you can get involved with Earth observation and learn to harness the thousands of satellites that we have going up into orbit today, that are looking down on us all and providing us with all of the data that we need, that we can crunch with AI to solve many of the problems. So learn about parallel accelerated computing, and many of the sustainable development goals can and will be solved with this technology, because every single industry and every politician and every scientist today and going forward needs only one thing: you. Code ninjas who can understand and use the tools that we've already provided, that the AI ecosystem has already, and community has already provided. But don't tell them the secret, because basically once you can harness AI techniques like deep learning, the artificial intelligence can then help you back. It'll augment your skills and make you, pretty much superhuman. And like Superman, when we can see and understand the whole world and all its natural processes, we can see the full view. We can do really incredible things. This imagery that you've seen here is created with our free tool, Omniverse, and you can see the layering capabilities of the clouds. This is physically accurate layering over the land and the ocean mass. But also gaming. Gaming has allowed us to fine tune the physical modeling capability to predict accurately things like flooding in coastal areas. So I also want to say a big shout out to all the millions of gamers. You may have started out that way yourself, out there constantly demanding higher and higher quality from us. But also it's so we can harness the infinite possibilities of virtual worlds, in this case for training, physics-based reinforcement learning here, where thousands of artificially intelligent agents are all learning to jump and land together to mimic human motion, running cost-free on only a single GPU in a gaming environment, or an instance of the metaverse that everybody's talking about right now. But when these robots get it wrong, they don't hurt themselves, they don't break apart, you just spawn another. Think of how it works in gaming. But that's unlike these kind of robots. You know, the actual physical robots, they cost a ton of money, and you definitely don't want them falling over. He's carrying one of our GPUs, in case you hadn't seen these before. You know, this is the hardware behind AI, the silicon or the chip, as some people call it. But in the virtual world, you can even turn yourself into an avatar and experience the environment yourself. You can either put on a VR headset, or you can just open a web browser. But watch our conference keynote yesterday that showcases Jensen. So that's my boss. He's actually being asked some really technical questions on astronomy and genomics. And he, or rather, you know, his avatar, is able to answer using natural language processing power. As avatars in virtual spaces, there's no need for traveling or waiting or queuing. You just hop online from home, just as we have done here in Zoom, and meet your friends. You can do that equally in our metaverse, you know, virtual space that we call Omniverse. You can talk to your friends, you know, just like you would in real life, and discuss ideas. You can laugh, think of really cool stuff to do wherever you are. So no need to get on a plane, a train, a bus, or even a car or a bicycle. But please, please, please do still go outside. Do still spend time in nature too. That's really, really important. You know, spend time playing, because that's where creativity is born. With AI, it can help you to create art, you know, from what you see out there in the natural world. This is such art that's actually made by AI and a guy called Daniel Ambrosi. Daniel's lucky enough to live in Half Moon Bay, California, which is a stunningly rugged coastal area. But he's actually using the AI tool Deep Dream by Google. And he actually exhibits his work worldwide. You can play around with a lot more online too. Just search NVIDIA and AI Playground. But do go outside and play first, okay? So I just want to leave you with one final piece of advice. At NVIDIA, we work fast. We work at the bleeding edge of technology. And it's called that because it's messy. Sometimes things don't work, but we fail fast and we do it again better. So I want you to embrace failure, especially the girls. Learn to love it, learn from it. We actually learn much quicker from failure than doing it right the first time, believe it or not. So again, congratulations to everyone. I can only imagine what you'll all be doing in 10 years from now. So, you know, wow. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Alison. That was really brilliant. And I hope everyone got inspired in the same way as I got inspired. And I'm really looking forward to the developments with the NASA project. I know a few data scientists and engineers working on this right now. So it will be very exciting to see what will be happening. So thank you so much, Alison. All right. And I noticed we have Susanna, who just joined us. Which is very, very timely because we're about to begin the very, very first pitch from the demo day. So team from Dubai, I hope you are ready. Before we allow you to speak, Susanna, if you can hear me, would you like to briefly unmute yourself and say hi, because we're just about to begin and I'm so happy you've caught us on time.
Yes, I made it.
Yes.
Just hi. Really happy to be here again. So just I'm not going to delay anything. So just looking forward to hearing all of you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Susanna. All right. Well, team from UAE, we will be playing your video, as you know, to make sure that we've got the quality of everyone's sound. Because we know we have some Wi-Fi issues often in some of the locations. So we decided to play your videos rather than allow you to pitch live. But you do need to be on the call to respond to any questions the judges will have for you. All right. So I hope everyone is ready. This is the order you will all be presenting. And Simply Green, team 1 from Dubai. Here we go. And let me know if the sound is okay as well.
Hello, we are Team 3 in the Teens AI competition, and we will be presenting our pitch for Simply Green. Our business proposal to the solution for how might we use AI to monitor and reduce carbon emissions relating to the 13th UN SDG.
So most of you are likely aware that we are currently in the middle of a global climate emergency. However, have you ever thought about how your diets and the food that you consume has an impact on carbon emissions that cause the climate emergency? Studies have shown that over 10 to 30% of household carbon emissions come from food consumption. And now you're also probably wondering, why do I have this chart on the screen? We conducted a survey with around 48 members of our school community to see what food products they consumed most. And among them, 63% reported that they consume large amounts of red meat. Beef alone produces 60 kilograms of CO2 emissions per kilogram of beef. But then we asked the same group of 48 people which measures they use to reduce their individual carbon footprints produced by their diets, and none of them could answer the question, which is a huge problem that we aim to solve.
People need resources that enable them to learn how to have diets with smaller carbon footprints in order to reduce the large carbon emissions produced by the food consumption globally. People worldwide are affected by this problem, and especially here in the UAE, due to existing problems with the country's food production and consumption system. UAE residents reported in our survey that they are unaware of accessible ways which they can lower their food's consumption, food's carbon footprint.
Our solution will be a web browser extension that is compatible with common browsers such as Chrome and Safari. The extension will contain an AI that scans the ingredients and recipes on platforms such as Tasty or BBC Good Food and suggests alternatives to the ingredients that produce less CO2 emissions per kilogram of the food product. For example, if the user is making a pasta dish containing beef, the AI would scan the ingredients and tell the user that chicken would be a more sustainable alternative. Our solution is unique on the market because instead of asking users to open a completely separate application, users simply have to install a browser extension that basically does everything for them in an accessible way while also keeping their monetary incentivized by giving discounts on sustainable products at supermarkets with future partnerships. This is what our product will look like. On the left, there's a Chrome extension, which will contain options for a user, a rating of the recipe, and the possible alternatives. It will also allow the user to edit their profile with things such as dietary needs and requirements, and contains a link to our website for more information and access for our APIs so that businesses can partner with us and help implement our product into their websites. The AI will highlight ingredients on the webpage that have a high carbon impact and allow the users to see alternatives when hovered over, as you can see on the right. Although we weren't able to develop an AI due to time constraints, the AI would be used to choose similar products to the initial product. These new products would then be run through a list to see if they are more carbon friendly. This code is an example of how one can do that using a list of information that contains the product name and the carbon score. The AI will also be used to help generate this list in combination with mathematical algorithms by improving data management in areas such as data ingestion and query performance.
Now, in terms of the data that we'll be using, we'll be gathering our own database to see the CO2 emissions in kilograms per kilogram of food product. So as you can see here, we have a bit of information that we have gathered from some existing data from the Visual Capitalist, and it shows these statistics that the AI will access. Based on these statistics, as Tudor explained, the AI will recommend alternatives to food products that produce lower kilograms of CO2 emissions per kilograms of the food product.
Phase one of our business model will produce revenue through advertising of sustainable companies. And also an API will be added in order to allow companies to purchase access to our database from their own platforms. Phase two will be a continuation of these revenue streams, while also adding partnerships with supermarkets so that we can provide users with discounts to sustainable food products, which provides the users with a financial incentive to use our extension. We will follow the structure of a social enterprise, meaning that all profits will reinvest in the business, and initial funding will come from investors. However, the operational cost will be very low, and therefore revenue streams will be very easily generated.
Simply Green will be applying advanced AI technologies such as supervised machine learning, browser extensions, APIs, data science, and gamification in order to create an accessible and innovative solution. By combining these elements, we are not only showcasing our technical skill, but we are also engaging the users with technology that they are maybe that they are familiar with, but is still innovative enough to solve this complex problem and allow people to interact and reduce their carbon emissions?
Simply Green is ethical because it does not violate users' privacy by tracking their purchases, but rather encourages a healthy relationship between the product and the user that is built on incentivization, accessibility, and sustainability.
Thank you for listening to our pitch, and we hope you consider investing.
All right. Thank you so much, team, for sharing this video with us. The team is on the call, and I would love to invite the judges to ask questions that they may have to clarify any of the points. And the team, if you could also unmute yourselves for the purpose of this Q&A, I would be grateful. So any questions from the judges at all? Yes, Emma.
Thanks, guys. I thought that was a really amazing presentation. It was really clear, and you really talked us through lots of part of the journey. I love the focus on the ethics of the end user and how it might impact them, and really thinking about how you can make a really impactful recommendation to people to incorporate in their lives. So I thought all of that was really amazing. I think one question that I had was around I had two questions. We'll see if anyone else has more. The first was around the underlying data set. And I was wondering if you had thought about how you might be able to use AI, perhaps as you scale across different regions, because obviously, depending on how you're growing ingredients or, how ingredients are sourced, they might have quite different carbon emissions. For example, in the UK, where it's cold and miserable, growing tomatoes might have a very different carbon emission to, say, getting them somewhere where they can grow in the sunshine. So have you thought about how you might maybe use AI to make that data more localized or more kind of real time for your app?
Right, so thank you for the question, and I think that is certainly something very relevant. So yeah, we have considered that, and what we would be doing, so the database, the sample one that we presented in our pitch, of course, was extremely simplified due to time constraints and things like that. However, in reality, we would make sure to have region-specific data trends in order to, because obviously certain regions, for example, the UAE, a lot of the produce is imported, meaning that the carbon footprint of something, say a certain vegetable would be much higher than the carbon footprint of that same vegetable in a country in Europe, for example, where they can be grown locally. So that will be considered for sure. And then adding to that, in terms of regional specifications, other than carbon footprint, we can also, we've also decided to integrate a bit into our AI in the sense that it accounts for dietary requirements. And let's just say cultural preferences in areas, for example, in regions which have higher levels of vegetarian or vegan populations, the AI will avoid, suggesting options that are high with meat products or animal-based products and things like that, just so that we're culturally sensitive and also aware of the conditions in the region that we're targeting.
Yeah, also adding on to that about the AI element of it. Obviously, we will use AI to generate a model that takes inputted data and after receiving a few pieces of information about how vegetables are grown in the UK, for example, and saying that, they have much more higher carbon emissions than vegetables grown in a majority of Europe, we can say that this will probably continue on to other vegetables, and we can use the AI to sort of clump data sets together and to generate a general feel for how the carbon emissions will work across different countries once we scale this up.
Great. Thank you so much, Emma, and thank you, team, for responding to the question. Jennifer, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, just one addition to Emma's question and or comment, and you addressed the differences in kind of culinary habits and the recommendations that you might make based on them. The other element to take into account is availability of certain products in certain regions. I mean, there are obviously regional differences in terms of what you can find. But my question is about how you're going to advertise or make this product, make your service known? Have you thought about partnerships with existing, food apps like Yuka or other applications, and how you get the word out, how people would discover the product?
Yeah, so purely from a marketing standpoint, we can just put out advertisements. If you look at other web browser extensions like Honey, for example, which is a browser extension that saves you money, you'll see that their advertisements really focus on just how easy it is to get. So you can just target the general public like that. We can also generate partnerships with local food providers in the areas, like, for example, Carrefour and other brands, in order to help basically people who use our service go to their shop by us recommending products from them that are carbon friendly because they provide a discount, and they send people our way, basically. So it's a mutually beneficial partnership.
All right. And last question, perhaps from Susanna. Sorry, Jennifer,
Okay.
do you have something else to add? No? Okay. Susanna, probably last question, and very brief comment from Nala.
Okay. Okay. Simple one. How far did you get with the implementation, with the code? So what do you have right now implemented?
We weren't able to develop on this past the original 1 week time period. And in that time, it was slightly less than a week, and we didn't really have much time in order to actually create a fully working AI system. What we have done is we've created the general concept, and we started with a bit of prototyping of, you saw earlier about how to manage the data sets without using AI in languages like Python. We hope that if we have more time to actually work on this, we can start learning how to actually create an AI, how to program it, and how to basically take all the data, get data, and use it to create something.
Great, thanks.
All right, and Nala, last question from you, please. And judges, we don't have to have all questions from all of you, but just a couple of questions. Otherwise, it will be a very long demo day. But Nala, please.
Absolutely. And Elena, given the limitations on time, I'm going to hold back on my question. And I just want to say congratulations to the team. I thought the presentation was very clear, very effective. And I love the idea of trying to make better choices easier for the end user and more convenient. I think that's a really important idea and contribution. So let me leave it at that.
Fantastic. All right. Well, team UAE Simply Green, well done, and congrats to you. So let's listen to the second team who are joining us from Homs. So the team is already on the call as well. I know they've had some difficulties joining, but it's called Net Profit. Very excited to listen to their pitch. Let's enjoy that.
Net profit. A little money with an optimal investment gives a great project. The problem. The issue of unemployment is widespread at this time, and the percentage of unemployed people is on the rise, as the employment rate in the latest statistics of 2020 reached 6.47% of the world population, according to the source. Solution. And since 20% of small businesses fail within the first year, our solution is to help the businessmen decide the optimal projects for areas in need of investment with the use of local labor in them, depending on the AI.
How the AI works in our project. The model will be trained on several data sets like economic, geographical, industrial information, 2 successful previous projects, 3 list of uninvested areas, 4 the needs of the communities, and the results it will achieve is choosing the optimal project with the most feasibility for both investors and job seekers. Here we can see a preview or a prototype of our application. Here we can see the sign-up process or the login. We first choose if you're an investor and then enter a few of your information. And then the app suggests projects for you. or the other solution that you are a worker, in which case you enter your CV file, and then the application notifies you when there are projects suitable for you. Our objectives, benefits, sorry. 1, revenues, make a profit for the investors. 2, job opportunities, provide chances for people who need them. 3, SDGs, achieving some sustainable development goals like 1, decent work and economic growth, and 2, no poverty. The AI ethics. 1A, it will not collect any information not entered by the user. B, it will provide equal chances to both genders, male and female. 3, transparency, non-fraud and flexible and safe project guaranteed. Our revenue sources, we will take a percentage, a 0.6% out of every contract that is done through our application. Thanks to everyone who helped us make this project. And here's our team. عمر عبارة, آية بريمان, حازم دلاتي, ليلى سرحان, and مرح الخواجة. Thank you very much.
All right, a very interesting, very ambitious project. Questions from the judges, and the team is already on the call. Any questions or comments? Jennifer? Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I'm interested in how the algorithm would work. What kind of inputs what is the data set that you're using to determine what those economic opportunities might be or the job opportunities might be? Maybe you could go into that in a little bit more detail.
Team, if you're on the call, feel free to unmute yourselves.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So the data set will cover a wide, will be quite extensive to say the least. It will mainly be, for example, we will collect geographical information through the use of GIS, and also economic information about the location, like maybe the import and export movement. And we may also collect the demographics of this area, the available resources, and manpower available to create a project, the socio. The society and culture, and the AI will use them to decide what is appropriate or what is the optimal project.
Okay.
All right, Jennifer, do you have any other questions? I think we seem to have a slight Wi-Fi issue with the team in Homs. Any other comments or questions from the judges? Thank you, Hazem. All right. Okay, Emma, question from Emma. Go for it.
Yes. Again, thank you. I love seeing this really interesting thought of the challenge of, particularly in the world at the moment where we're going through this big shift, following this digital transformation that kind of COVID's forced on everyone, and people often changing careers or thinking about it. So I think it's a really interesting opportunity to match people to new roles and new opportunities. It's definitely really important for all of us. I love that you talked a little bit about areas that were underinvested. And I saw that you talked a little bit about as well that potential for getting a revenue stream that's really clear through the contract. So definitely, if you made the app be sustainable, I wondered if you could talk a little bit more about the how the app is designed to identify areas of uninvestment or speak to investors.
Hazem, are you able to respond? Can you hear us?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Yes. Am I on mute? I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about how you can find data to tell investors which areas are underinvested or that they should be investing in, using either the data or the AI. How would you find that information and make it available to the investors?
After using all this information, after getting all the information, the AI will analyze them and then find some market gaps. Maybe it will find that there is a lack of certain products, that there is a lack of available resources, but they are not being invested. And that's it.
All right. All right. Any other judges with questions? No. All right. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, team and Hazan, for responding to all the questions. Let's hear from the next team, and that is Refugee Reunite, a team pitching from London.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be presenting Refugee Reunite. We are a non-profit organisation that helps refugees fleeing war reconnect with loved ones through our registration and search system. We are Alice, Danny, Katie and Axa. Next slide, please. Many refugees are separated from family members when forced to flee from war and disaster zones. Our app and bracelet aims to provide a way for refugees in shelter camps to be reunited. The size of the camp means that even in the case that two people have ended up in the same shelter camp, the probability they will find each other is very low. Next slide, please. So, the Refugee Reunite app allows refugees, when they first enter the camp, to enter themselves into the database of people in the camp, as well as searching for other people who may also be in the camp. They do this with the help of an aid worker if necessary, so that the refugee understands the terms and conditions when they put their details in the system. As well as functions for refugees, administrators will also be given the permission to summon large groups of people. And so here on screen is just some functions of the app, just running through it quite quickly.
So this is a code that I built to show how the system would work, and I'll quickly run through a few examples of the things you can do. So firstly, you can register yourself and enter your name, date of birth, and where you're from, and there would be a camera system built into the code if we had time. Secondly, you can search for others in the database after registering, and you must scan your wristband first to make sure that information cannot be accessed by everyone, and you're able to confirm you have found the right person and arrange to meet with them. Finally, large groups such as all of the children can be summoned by administrators. This feature will make life in shelter camps much more organized. Unfortunately, we don't have time to show you all the features in the code, but I hope this gives you an idea of what we were able to achieve in such a short amount of time.
By using Fusion 360, I designed a 3D model of our Refugee Reunite multi-purpose bracelet. After a refugee is registered at the camp, they will choose a bracelet from one of 3 sizes. When a relative is also registered, built-in LEDs in the bracelet will flash bright yellow, notifying the person and allowing them to meet in a designated meeting spot. As we discussed in the empathize stage, refugees are likely to be stressed, worried, and in need of reassurance and support from someone they are close to. To alert groups of specific people, such as children, to go and collect food, the LEDs will flash green. If time allowed, we would introduce a medical side to our bracelet by including a built-in heart rate monitor, as the bracelet will be worn around the wrist. Any heart rates that exceed a set maximum or fail to meet normal standards will be immediately referred to the medical site. This will be done by a small buzz sensation. Next slide, please.
There are a lot of things we need to consider when it comes to ethics, but I'll say a few of the most important ones. The process of registration must be consensual. Should refugees wish to remain anonymous, they will have the choice not to register themselves into the database. The information must be protected. There will be a vast amount of information in the database which can be protected using end-to-end encryption. We will also protect the data from being accessed by using an RFID system, where the refugees will be made to register before they can search, and will not be able to search for anyone until they have proved this by scanning their wristbands. Most importantly, both people must consent to meeting. When two refugees meet, there will be an aid worker present, acting as a mediator to make sure one person isn't trying to harm the other.
We help refugees fleeing war reconnect with loved ones through our registration and search system. We are a non-profit organisation, and so it means that we wouldn't make a profit. However, we would need money in order to implement the system. Ways we could do this include applying for grants from big foundations, selling our products with other non-profit organizations who do not have access to our technology, collaborating with bigger organizations who receive more donations, and advertising for donations on social media.
So why should donors donate to, well, us? So there are many reasons why. So once refugees, once people find each other, and so children find parents, for instance, they will feel less alone, and of course, they will have the ability to form like more stable relationships, more stable communities once they get the help they need. And also the countries who, for instance, donate the money, in which once these refugees relocate and they've had the time to recover, to rest, to relocate and to settle down slowly, the country will like glean the benefits. For instance, an example of this is with Germany, in which they had the highest number of refugees coming into their country, and after some time, of course, because you have to let the refugees, of course, give them some time. But after that time, the Germany's economy is now one of the fastest growing in Europe. Thank you very much for listening. And
all right. Any questions from the judges? Nala, let's start with you.
Great. Thanks so much, Elena. Thank you so much to the team for this. What you're presenting here not only meets a need in the midst of the greatest refugee migration crisis that we've had in 7 decades, but it also does it with compassion, and I think that's amazing to see. I had a couple of questions for you. So I love the ethical considerations that both sides have to agree to it, but I'm wondering the safety and security of the information, and how do you make refugees who are fleeing conflict feel comfortable providing that personal information, and security considerations, given that they are fleeing persecution. What are the security considerations that we can build into this? My second question is with regards to cost. I thought the bracelets idea was a great idea. If you have a sense of the costing of that, and then the linkages to the health systems. We're often talking about camps that don't have established health systems, and so has that link been looked at? But I think it's a great idea. Congratulations.
Right, team from London, are you ready to respond to those questions?
Yeah, thank you. So for the first question about safety of refugees, we're planning to use end-to-end encryption, and we were also going to make sure that it was translated into their language so that they could fully understand what they were consenting to.
We'd also have to make sure that there was someone there, or maybe an AI, to read it out, as we understand that a lot of refugees might be illiterate and may not be able to read the code.
£18 range, and
yeah, and we thought a bit about how we would be able to make money to make up for the cost, and obviously in an ideal world our organization would be able to work solely by donations and help of funds, but we appreciate this might not be a feasible plan, and in that case we would be able to market our technology to things such as large festivals or large sports organizers, and the money we would raise would make up for the cost of our technology and allow us to fund like future additions to our project.
Great, thank you, team. Alison, I saw your hand raised, and then Susanna. No,
Yeah. So can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Great idea. Really, really fantastic. And I agree about the personal data. And I'd like to say, controversially, this is teens in AI, of course, that personal data issue could be partially solved by actually not including any AI. The market today, trustworthy AI, is so new that it's basically going to make it a very, very tough market, and rightly so, because of that personal data issue. So I would say, think long and hard about this, but you should still push for the main idea, for that connection. The wristband is fantastic, perhaps even the heart rate monitor too, but AI isn't always a silver bullet. You might actually have a very good product without it, just using, core data science.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the 3D model of the bracelet that we've already started printing.
Brilliant. It's really good.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Such a valid comment, Alison. We do not want everyone to think that AI can solve everything. So fantastic. Susanna, would you like to ask or comment?
Yeah, so that's definitely a great topic to tackle in this hackathon. It's definitely something that makes us think about it. My question is, although AI might not be the ideal in this case, could you elaborate a bit more how you would use AI in this project, just a bit more?
Yeah, of course. So this is something we also thought about a bit, and we thought one way we could use AI, we could develop it to help the refugees access camp resources. Like, for example, if there were deliveries of food or medicine to the camp, then the AI could be used to organize the refugees. So they got, like, for example, special times to go and collect their items, and the AI would learn how best to organize the collection so that there wouldn't be huge queues and crowds to get access to those things, which could be just refugees, especially in like the hot sun.
Okay, so they would have access to the outcome of your solution, so they would know how to what is the best path to get there, so what is the idea? So they would have access, so they would know how to get to the right place because the algorithm that it's somewhere in the camp.
So basically what I was thinking is like the algorithm could work and tell them what would be the best time to go and collect it rather than the algorithm like give it to them.
Great, thank you.
All right, Martina, you have a question?
I have a few, but I'll keep it short. Again, I'll echo what everyone else has said. Terrific idea. Number one, so I want to start. So your proposal starts with the assumption that refugees do or do not have access to a phone.
They do not have access.
Okay, so this is being done with the camp, like the coordinator, based off of their device, whatever it is, right? Okay, cool. So second question then, you talk about the bracelets and, how they light up and how it guides, hey, go to your meeting point. If they don't have the phone, how are they going to know where to go? That wasn't quite clear to me.
Well, they'll be told when they enter the camp when the mediators will be.
There's going to be like a designated meeting area within the camp. So like if the bracelet lights up, they go to the meeting area, which like will stay the same.
Okay. Again, that assumes that there's just one and, they get help from a counselor and whatnot. And right.
Sorry?
No, I'm saying so that it assumes that there's just one meeting area in the camp, right? And they're getting assistance from a
would be like a large room or like a big area.
And in the center of it.
Okay, and then so thank you. And then last question, you talk about the end-to-end encryption. Privacy concerns are a huge piece here, especially given the target audience that we're talking about. But you don't talk about, so end-to-end encryption is one piece, but the data, when it goes, it's encrypted, but where have you thought about where is it going to be stored? Who's going to store it, right? Who's going to have access to it? I'd be just as concerned about, the like encrypting it along the pipeline as to where that ultimately is going to be stored, right? Because again, underscoring the fact that that's super sensitive data.
Definitely, and this would be something that we gave a lot more thought to if we only had 2 days of our project to work on it, so this would be something that we thought about.
Yeah, and we also appreciate that we would need more meeting spots for refugees because of how large the camps are.
All right, Jennifer, last question from you perhaps, and let's move on to Team 4.
Yeah, so the only thing I wanted to say was that, it kind of echoed the comments about the privacy and the willingness of refugees to share their information. That's also there's a massive trust issue with refugees and a fear factor. The other thing that I wanted to say, absolute kudos for you, is finding a commercial application so that you could have some cross subsidization. That's always the commercial viability of an app like this or a project like this is always really challenging. So the fact that you've come up with something that would allow you to maybe make money on it at a festival or concert or something else, and then use that to cross subsidize the good, the sustainable aspect of the project, I think is great. So kudos for thinking through that.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you, team. Thank you, judges. Let's now hear from the next team. And that team is from France. And it's called UNAI.
Hello, I'm Lilu.
And I'm Julian.
And today we're going to present to you our solution.
Unite.
Now, in front of the climate crisis, we've all felt a great sense of powerlessness. And to us, the most important question that comes up is, what can I do? Therefore, our problem is composed of 3 major parts. First of all, fake news and disinformation, then the question of privacy and private data, and obviously the climate crisis. This is why we can say that our problem concerns a universal population.
So in this world where the smallest of our choices has a much greater impact than what we understand, it's harder and harder to make the right choice. For 82% of the people we've interviewed, a simple reminder notification would be enough to alter their behavior for the better. And that's exactly what our project Unite promises to be, an assistant, a help, precisely that little reminder we all need. So through an application and a dedicated interface, each user will receive personalized content such as a notification when he takes the car too much during the week and he could be taking public transports, when he's not eating local products, or when he goes shopping on the internet, all thanks to artificial intelligence.
Therefore, our value proposition is really a personalized application for all the little hummingbirds out there.
So the technology used is React Native for the application, TensorFlow in either Python or JavaScript for the AI coding, and Heroku and Red Hat Web for the hosting. So this is a quick video of how the app works. I'm just going to speed through it. So when you create an account, you just need an email, password. You can choose specifically what you're interested in working on. Then you have access to our Unite Plus functionality, which we're going to be talking about later. This is your profile page where you have a level, you have your daily goals, as well as the things you're interested in. So then on your profile, you have access to your personal data. We have a news section, as well as a community tab in which you can connect with people who are like-minded, so you can learn more about what you're doing, such as Healthy Food Paris, shopping, or fitness and health. We also have a family board group, which is a premium feature, in which users in the same family can create family goals and have a little bit of competitivity with all that. And when going on the internet, this is the small pop-up you will receive on the side of the screen, and you can click on it to see an analysis of the brand.
So as Julian just explained to you, the really important part of ethics with our application is going to be personal data. And here on the profile page, the client has complete control over what we do with their data. So our ethics is composed of 3 key parts. First of all, accessibility,
security and transparency,
and equality. So the market that we're really trying to target here is an urban population aged between 20 and 40 years old. And this graph shows you our estimated ideal market percentage. Our business model is also composed of 3 key parts. First of all, a donation system with news articles and obviously
Unite Plus. So Unite Plus is our premium functionality per month. It's $5.99 per month, in which you have access to many extra functionalities. And this is on the screen. You can see the cost we have for upkeeping and holding on it. So adversary-wise, we really don't have any. Yuka does provide food scans, which is something we want to do, but we want to talk about their carbon footprint. So maybe we could do collaboration with them on that. And we already know the database we're going to be using for that. It's called EDB Eternity. But essentially, we have a free market.
So for the future, we would really like to set up a partnership system with different businesses, as well as a sponsorship system that goes both ways, and obviously develop our app with new functionalities. So Julian and I have presented to you our project, and we really hope you liked it.
Thank you.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Right, great. Thank you so much, team. Martina already has got her hand raised. So Martina, question from you.
Thank you. Great concept. I just have one question, and that is, can you talk a little bit more about how AI is woven into your product? In kind of how that works.
Okay, so essentially, we're going to be using AI to create a profile of the user. So we're doing this extremely transparently. This is the first thing that the user sees when he creates an account. He's being told the information gathered. He gets to pick which information is used, and the AI is going to track whichever things he agrees to. For example, his location, in order to build a profile and learn that person's habits in order to suggest a better lifestyle for them. For example, if the AI using the speed of movement realizes that he takes the car for very short trips, the user takes the car for very short trips every single day, he can make the app sends notification saying, hey, perhaps today you may want to take the transports or just take a walk.
Yeah, the AI here really is going to try and make the app very personified for each individual. That's really the objective with the AI.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, technical issues. Any other questions, or we will move on to the next pitch? Final question, Emma, perhaps from you, because we're running a little bit behind, and my team is saying to me that we're 20 minutes behind, apparently. So, Emma.
Okay, I'll keep it quick then. I just want to say, again, really great, really clear presentation and really beautiful interface. I was really impressed by how far you'd got through the interface. I was going to ask if we could go into a bit more detail on the business model and making it more sustainable, but so just maybe 1 or 2 lines on that, but conscious of time. So
yeah, of course, I'll go very quick. So we had explained really quickly that the business model, we have 3 main sources of income. First of all, Unite Plus, which is the premium feature of our app. So there we really give the user the choice as to whether or not they want to pay for some extra little capacities. For example, the family competitive page, that's a Unite Plus feature. Then also sponsorships and news articles. So what we mean by news articles is that in our app, we have a category for the user to access verified information, so reliable sources of information on different subjects, obviously all revolving around carbon emissions and the environmental crisis. So in that situation, certain local businesses, obviously local for each different user, local businesses could pay to have their business kind of promoted in one of those news articles. However, they would always be the user would be notified as to which news articles would be had been paid for in advance.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'd just like to add, especially the main concern we had with this application and the use of AI and personal data was that in this day and age, no one wants something else which tracks your every movement and sells it to companies for personalized ads. So really, we wanted to go for a completely ad-free, non-tracking application. We put a lot of effort into making it transparent, making it anonymous, and having it work, especially with the databases. We wanted something away from Amazon and Google because we thought that would be approaching us, linking us with companies we don't associate with ethically.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, team. So we only have a couple of pitches left to listen to. And next up is a team from Syria, from Latakia. And here is their pitch.
Hi, we're the Rave, and we're here to help you save the planet. Nowadays, workplaces and households produce an excessive amount of waste, which is being thrown in landfills and burnt instead of being recycled. This problem has a disastrous effect on climate change and life on land.
Figures show that 63% of the municipal solid waste is recyclable according to the EPA. However, only 23.6% of it is being recycled.
And while the waste rate is increasing more and more after the COVID-19 pandemic shutdown, people were left with more boxes and packages, plus more time to spare doing useful activities. That's the case of our persona.
Orchid, 19 years old, who wants to manage her household waste in a creative way while using the free time she has during the COVID-19 lockdown. And that's exactly what we plan to do.
As shown in our survey results, more than 90% of people deal with their waste by throwing it in waste bins, after having confirmed the huge lack of special recycling bins in the survey area. Results also shows that more than 50% of household and workplace waste is in fact recyclable, and 88% of people are willing to consider recycling at home.
Our website helps users with their waste management issues by suggesting useful and easy recycling ideas that they can do in the comfort of their homes while playing a positive role in climate actions.
We are an online platform that uses multi-classification algorithm to sort out waste, then use the search engine to suggest easy and helpful DIY ideas free of charge, as well as having a low-cost premium version.
We encourage people to be creative and discover new opportunities to turn waste into reusable items, while other recycling websites do not. The design is simple and easy to use, that has eye-catching elements and visual comfortable colors. We also have 2 options that suits your needs.
The AI algorithm visually analyzes the picture using a dataset of hundreds of recyclable materials. It will detect the item and automatically search for the ideas.
We plan on making income through a premium version that offers more features, such as material trading and companies marketing their eco-friendly and recycled products by ads.
We aspire to partner with ecological associations and communities that serve our goals, such as EPA, and those who encourage people to be creative, such as Pinterest.
We recommend all our users to take the item photos in front of a blank background and to not share any personal details in the description or the photo itself.
And there's our team. I'm Amar.
I'm Ali.
I'm Chantal.
I'm Shahid.
And I'm Yana.
Special thanks for our mentors and supervisors.
All right. So the team is on the call. And Alison, your first question or comment?
Yeah, both actually. Excellent use of code. I looked at what you passed forward, but also promoting recycling is a fantastic idea. Even here in the UK, we still don't recycle soft plastics, and that has to change. So, trying to tackle that soft plastics as opposed to hard things like bottles, which we can recycle at the moment. Use of Orchid, the avatar is an excellent idea. It's very user friendly, and it'll really sort of pull in users. Talk to the EPA about the app, because they might just help to to push this. But do consider how to deploy this over cloud. And what I mean by that is compute via cloud service providers like Google or Amazon, because there are definite costs involved there, but you can get to that at a later stage, when you're talking about business model side. But excellent, well done.
Brilliant. Any other question? I can take one more question from someone or a comment, and if not, we go. All right, Emma. Yes.
So I'm finding all of these so inspiring, so many questions. Again, love the idea. I think it's really, really cool. Had you thought about any ways to maybe use gamification to kind of get a community going to inspire more and more creative uses, more and more creative ways to adopt it, and how that might work in the app.
We plan to make a community on our website, so natural activists and could raise awareness about natural issues and how to solve them. Also by posting their ideas on how to make creative things with their easy steps, so they can do it in the comfort of their home. We made the app very user friendly, but in the same time, it looks like it's simple as a game, but it's also very elegant and serious. Like, it's a serious problem, so we try to be as simple as we can, but every little detail in our app actually has a meaning, and each one of them was chosen precisely.
All right, perfect. Thank you, team. Good to see you all. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, all right. So we've got a last project from Tanzania, and the team is here already. So I'm moving on very quickly to the team in Tanzania, and then the judges will be taken away to another room. So the breakout room has been created, and I hope the judges are making comments and notes because we will need to decide on the prizes, and I will mention what these prizes are as well. So, last team, it's called Trash Hopper, and the judges were asking for a game, and here is a game coming, created on Scratch. Here it is.
Now, this project was mainly made by two people, me, Julius Kibasa, and my partner, Arthur Tumaini. Now, we all aren't strangers when it comes to the definition of pollution, but some of us really don't realize about the dangers of pollution, especially to our health. And that can be said for our community in Tanzania. We can see there are many people, even in our normal neighborhoods, that we see people polluting, throwing away harmful trash, but they don't realize just how harmful it can be, not just to their health, but the health of those nearby, their loved ones, their friends. So with the help of Scratch, we managed to make a game that helps show how harmful pollution is to the community and how to stop it. Now, our game, as I said, is called Trash Hopper, and will make you take control of a Tanzanian boy called Ben. So I will leave it to my co-partner Arthur to explain how the game works.
So my name is Arthur. This is our game, and the game is called Trash. All about Ben, and on this city is polluted by trash. So Ben is jumping on these little trashes which have been collected and became monsters. So Ben is trying to survive, and if he touches them, he becomes illness and becomes sick.
Now, our business model is to partner with local and international companies who will care about the environment and wish to see it improved. We'll partner with companies such as Coca-Cola, telecom companies, financial institutions. Well, also we'll use the platform to advertise some of their products. While helping us, we'll also help them by using in-app ads. So they'll be advertising their products by using our game, but also at the same time helping to sponsor some of our activities which will be done through the game. And revenue will be earned through in-app advertising, meaning that the number of ads watched or clicked, there'll be some money that will be taken in. And that's just the code of how the game works. And the video, like a demonstration of the video in case you don't want to play it, is right over there. Now, in AI ethics, we tried to think a lot about what could go wrong with the game. And we mostly came up with one thing that could go wrong is that there'll be a lot of ads, since we'll also be allowing companies to put their ads, like there'll be a lot of ads, like for every one game, for every try, there'll be a lot of ads that'll be popping up, and that could really be annoying. So our solution is to use as less ads as possible, and which take as less time as possible. Since most game ads take 30 seconds, our ads will take 5 to 10 seconds. And our game does not discriminate. It can be played by both boys and girls. And taking into account the financial situation of everybody, we made it free to play.
All right. So thank you, team. And any questions from the judges? I can perhaps take a couple of questions at most, and then I will take the judges away. Susanna, I'm coming to you.
Yeah, sure. So I think it's incredibly important to raise awareness around this, even if it's just playing or however, so that you think that it's always a good idea. And in this case, with this game, you would achieve this. My question here is that in that game that you are planning to develop, how AI, or what role plays AI here? It's in the middle of the game. It's to get information from users. It's to, what is the aim?
Team, if you're on the call, do unmute yourselves.
Hi.
Hi.
I hope I'm seen. Now, first of all, when I said that we'll be using multiple accounts, usually in one device and others in another device. Now, coming to your question, like our game, we wanted to use AI for the purpose of interaction with the environment. What do I mean? Our game, we would like our game to be able to interact with the environment, similar to games like Pokemon Go. How we'll do this is like players will take pictures of environments like littered with pollution, and the AI will scan the pictures, seeing the severity of the pollution in that particular environment, and will also help to give ideas on how to stop the pollution, how to curb it, and also will help to show the severity and magnitude. So it not only would detect the pollution and magnitude, it will also store them for future references.
Oh, thanks. Really, it would be really amazing to see. Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
All right. Question from Emma.
Thanks, guys. Again, I think, educating through entertainment is such a good, powerful way to do it. And we all know that, the game industry is a really profitable and exciting one. So I think there's really something very cool in here. I was wondering, I guess a little bit, following on from that AI question, would love to maybe talk more about the Pokemon Go concept, but how you might use the game to teach people, one, about the different types of pollution, and then maybe how you could, maybe different levels or different parts of the game to actually teach people to fight those different types of pollutions and the strategies. I'd love to, it sounds like I appreciate this was an MVP and it's very difficult to develop a game. So if you could express a little bit more about the thinking that you have there, that would be great.
When designing the game, we wanted to focus mostly on the solid waste, since in our country, Tanzania, that's kind of like the main type of waste that's causing the health-related diseases. But I think we can also incorporate the other types of polluted waste like liquid and gas, because we only decided to focus on the solid waste since it was really a bit of a problem.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, team. And thank you to all the judges for asking your questions and making your comments. What will be happening now is I will take the judges away. And Alison, you will join us as well. Thank you. And whilst we are deliberating, the stream will be paused and we'll come back once we have come up with the top 3 winners. And just so you know, we do have some fantastic prizes that have been offered by the judges. And I will briefly share them now. The first prize will be awarded £1,000 per team. The second prize, 500. Third prize, 300. So these are the cash prizes. And we also have some non-monetary prizes generously offered by our sponsors, voucher codes from NVIDIA so that you can continue your learning process. There will be an opportunity for one of the teams to present in front of Sage AI leadership team. And there will also be an opportunity for one of the teams to present and showcase the project to JSK Consumer Healthcare, courtesy to Emma. So on this note, I'm going to open the rooms, or Tariq will. And I'm going to take the judges away. So thank you very much. I'll be seeing you very shortly back here in the room. how incredible you all are, and I hope you all know this. And even if you're not that first, second, and third prize, please know that every single one of you is going to go super far in this life, because you've just stepped into this incredible journey to do something phenomenal for the world. And I just wanted to, from the bottom of my heart, to thank you for giving me and for giving all of us this opportunity to inspire you on this journey. So told Harv, okay. So I think we've got our live stream colleague coming back to stream this live. And this is a moment to cherish, and we will share the link with you afterwards as well, so that you can share this with your schools and communities. And it's something for us all to celebrate. It really makes me very hopeful that the world will be in a much better place, having you lead on these projects. Really incredible. So you should all be very proud of everything you have achieved. So Harv, let me know when you are ready. I hope we are not having any technical issues, as sometimes we do. All right, so we are live. Fantastic. So everyone, thank you so much for rejoining us on YouTube and here on the call. Very excited to now proceed with the announcement of the prizes and the winners. It was, as always, a heated debate and very difficult for all judges to decide on who should be the winners. To me, as I mentioned already many times, you all are winners for stepping into this. And for many of you, it was so challenging to do this work, and some of you only had 2 days, and others have had to combine it with your school and do this work. And many of you have also had problems with Wi-Fi and electricity cuts and so many other things. So despite all the challenges, you are all here because you are all incredible. So what I will do now is I will ask the judges to announce the first, second, and third prize. We also have an incredible guest with us today, Nala from the United Nations Secretary General Office. And I've asked Nala to do a brief talk address to highlight the importance of today, because today is also a United Nations Science Day for Peace and Development, something I'm really passionate about. My previous background was in war studies and international relations. And when I see science and technology being used to improve the world as we live right now, specifically for peace and development, we have had so much happen recently, then it's a joy to see this happen, and this led by young people. And if anything, Tanzania is an enabler of change. And I've always wanted to see young people really taking the stance for what matters to them. And we have seen this in COP26, also young people really highlighting how frustrated they are. So for me, it's not enough to offer a seat at the table. We need to offer a table to young people. And that is what this competition has been about. So I'm very proud of everything you have done. And on this note, I would love to invite Emma. No, actually, we're going to go with the third prize first. So it will be Susanna from Sage announcing the third prize. We will then have Martina from NVIDIA announcing the second prize, and then Emma will be announcing the first prize. And we don't have a drum roll, but please pretend there is a drum roll and make some emojis or some sounds, but I would definitely love to see some excitement. So Susanna, you have done this before for us. Always a pleasure to have you. And I know it was not easy. So let me spotlight you and pin you as well. So
thanks, Elena. Yes, it was not easy. It took more time than we expect. And because there were really incredible good projects and really good ideas, we were taking more time just to go through all of them. And because the topic, because the designs, because the ethical model, the business model, and everything else that we saw there, the third time was really well deserved for UNAI. Congrats, guys! It has been just it's really an amazing app, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the next step somewhere in production. So,
Yay.
Congratulations!
Fantastic. And so UNAI, this is the team from France. I remember last year France were the first prize team. This time it's the third. And we definitely want to see this team succeed and progress in their project. We will let you know, because we have discussed it sort of with the judges, whether there are some companies who would want to offer further mentoring, and we definitely have had some really great positive response. So I will be definitely in touch with you. But other than that, your prize is £300 in cash, which we will send this to you per team. And in addition to this, of course, NVIDIA is offering some vouchers to help you progress in your learning as well. So congratulations, team UNAI. I wanted to very quickly tune in just to hear your comments and response and reaction, because I would definitely love to see some reaction. Usually live, it's so much easier, but we're online. So team UNAI, could we have you say a couple of words?
Yes, well, we're so grateful for having had this opportunity to participate. It's Julian and I's first year participating in the hackathon, so already having come this far is like such a surprise to us, and we're incredibly proud. And obviously want to thank our mentors who helped us bring this project to life through the week. We had a lot of trouble coordinating it with our schoolwork.
Yes.
But yeah, we're so happy to have been able to participate in this project and meet all these incredible people along the way. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And now I hope you will turn into our ambassadors and bring in more young people in France, because we really would like this opportunity to be available to every teenager. So thank you so much, team. And with the second prize, Martina, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. So again, just to underscore what was said before, all of the teams did an amazing job. It really was, a difficult thought process and discussion and everything, at the end, but you should all be proud of yourselves. And the team that walks away with second prize today is Trash Hopper. So yay!
Yay!
You all did a fantastic job. And it was lovely. I think, the thought process and, the product, everything, all of the questions that you answered about your thinking and how it went into informing, how you came to this whole idea, was just fantastic. So congratulations.
Fantastic. Congratulations, team. If you're on this call still, could we hear a couple of comments from you as well? So team Trash Hopper from Tanzania.
Hi.
Hi.
Honestly speaking, it is like I am lost for words, because it's our first time knowing that our country, Tanzania, is taking place for the first time this AI hackathon, and also being for the first time being second place. It's like I'm really shocked for words. So my thanks first of all goes to the Almighty God. He is the one who helped us get through from the national competition to where we are now. Without him, none of this would have been possible. And also I'd like to thank our mentors who helped us go through and through everything ever since the beginning of the program till now. I'd like to give a special thanks to Madam Leticia and all the other mentors who helped us. And I'd also like to thank our parents who helped support us when we were doing these programs. Because honestly speaking, this program, we didn't have a lot of time, because I was doing diploma classes and Arthur was also having his own school classes. But I am glad that all of our hard work and effort really paid off. And I just hope that we being in second place isn't the end for Tanzania, that next time we can be the first. So anyways, not to take too much time. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Julius, thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
very excited when Tanzania joined us. So that's brilliant. So hopefully this won't be the last time, and definitely bring in more young people next time to participate. All right, you will definitely be our ambassador, I hope, in Tanzania. And Alison, I'm going to ask you to also perhaps at this point make a few comments, because I know you do work a lot in Africa. What are your thoughts on what you've heard? And I know Trash Hopper was one of your favorites too.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic place to just jump ahead of so many countries, because Africa, especially sub-Saharan, has got a really strong telecoms side. So I would really push you to keep working, guys, on moving from scratch to an actual mobile app, for iPhone and for Android, because you've got potential to make some really huge impacts socially across the whole of the continent, if not the whole of the planet, because a mobile application is that powerful. Anybody with a mobile can actually access and learn about pollution, learn about trash, learn about just the little tiny things that they can do, and you can actually make that happen. So push for support, really sort of pitch hard to keep making those steps up. But fantastic for everybody actually out there, not just the winners. You're all fantastic. So we'd be very happy to help anybody further, with mentoring or to keep learning more. Do look at that link that's in the chat.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Alison. Thank you. And so the first prize will be announced by Emma. Emma, whenever you're ready. And this is not the first time, again, you're judging a competition like this, and you have been watching us from the very beginning, Emma. So over to you now.
I just again want to say thank you. All 6 entries we saw today were incredible, but not just these 6. I think everyone who's taken part, all of the heats that I saw, everyone, it's incredible. It's honestly so inspiring, and I cannot wait to see what every single person who's taken part in this hackathon does next. Please keep at it. We definitely need all of you to keep being engaged and keep making AI a more inclusive and innovative and creative place. And I'm honestly so grateful to be here and really blown away. I know you're all just waiting for me to say who won, so I will get to it. But the team who won was Team 5, Derev. So congratulations, well done. This app won for a number of reasons. I think we thought it was really well thought out. It was really actionable. We've all been seeing the news and looking at COP26 recently, and I think that real importance not just of recycling, etc., but reuse, thinking about how we can actively use waste. I loved the gamification, the fact that you could, you had your avatars, you'd really thought about the safeguarding of people. And I could really see this, expanding. I can see parents wanting to use it for their kids. I would want to use it for me maybe one weekend. Like, it's so cool. So well done, incredibly creative team. And I really think you build a product here that I hope you take forward, because it was amazing. So congratulations, team.
Amazing. Thank you, Emma. And Team Derev, are you on the call? Can we hear from you now? Oh wow, we can hear. We can definitely hear.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Oh my God.
A lot of excitement. Anything to say?
It was an amazing experience. It was enormous. It was fantastic. It was like anything else. Oh my God.
All right, the team is lost for words, but well done. I'm happy that you're all excited, and it's definitely something to celebrate. Well done. And as I mentioned already, we had 5 cities in Syria, so it was a massive effort. I want to say thanks to Hassan, who's our core ambassador for Syria and MENA, and we've been working with Hassan.
Thanks to everybody. Our lead organizer, Noura, Ali Dayoub, Ali Aoun, Tahir, Yasmina, our design thinking mentors, Aisha, all of our mentors, and all of our beautiful team members. It was amazing.
Oh, amazing. That's Fantastic. And I know Noor is the lead organizer and she's on the call here today. Noor, would you like to say a couple of words? This was your first time organizing a hack.
Yes.
Hi. Oh, this is the first time for me to meet you as well. Hi, nice to meet you. Do you have something to say as well?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for organizing this and helping me. You were a great help. I want to thank AI Club and Hassan Dayoub for giving me this opportunity, and I'm so proud of this guy.
Amazing. Let's do this again. What an incredible team and so much excitement. Well, well done, everyone. I wanted to hear from Jennifer before I pass it over to Nala with the closing for the closing keynote. Jennifer, this was your first time judging this hackathon, and we only just recently met, but I really, really hope you enjoyed this experience and very much hope to see you and Snowflake supporting us in the future. Jennifer.
Absolutely. I would love to participate again. Congratulations to all the teams that participated. It's just wonderful to see all of the excitement, the enthusiasm, and all of the effort that was put in the creativity and identifying innovative new projects to address these big issues that we're all faced with. The challenges of addressing the ethical issues, also identifying, commercial viability and ways to get funding for these different apps and these different projects. There's obviously a lot wrapped up into, each individual project. And I just, congratulations to each of the teams for really pulling it together.
Fantastic. All right. So, well, on this note, I definitely would love to now pass it on to Nala, who is joining us from the Secretary Office General office in the UN in New York. This was a very sort of last minute ask, and Nala accepted to be judge and also to do a very brief address for everyone to really understand the importance of today's day as well, which is the United Nations Science Day for Peace and Development. So Nala, whenever you're ready, we would love to hear your closing remarks.
Great. Elena, thank you so much. And I know that it's been, this has been a packed morning, afternoon, evening for everyone. So I am really going to be incredibly brief. Let me just begin by saying how exciting it was to be here with all of you, to be part of this incredibly inspirational. Alison, you were certainly not the only one with tears in your eyes when the reactions from the team. This is just really, really inspiring to be part of this today. And so thank you for inviting me to be here. As Elena said, today is World Science Day for Peace and Development. And I think every single one of your projects reflected exactly what this day represents. It is about highlighting the importance of science and scientists to society, and about bringing citizens to science and a greater awareness and a greater engagement with how this can present solutions to our challenges. And this has never been more important than it is right now. As the world gathers in Glasgow for COP26, we are every week seeing more extreme weather events. We are every week hearing more dire predictions. We are, of course, still in the midst of a pandemic that is affecting this generation like no other, growing inequality, and as I mentioned, a migration crisis that is the greatest that we've had in 7 decades. And every single one of your presentations today was looking at solutions to these big global challenges. And this is what we need right now. We need new, innovative solutions. And we need technology and progress that is not going to be about delivering our new shoes and our takeaway pizza faster. It literally is about addressing the global challenges that we have in this moment. And I think that, again, is reflected World Science Day for Peace and Development this year. The focus is on building climate-ready communities. And so many of your projects were addressing either that directly or the implications of the climate crisis that we're facing right now. So we need the solutions that are going to address the global challenges that we're facing. We need the solutions that are going to allow every single individual to live with dignity and have opportunities. And these solutions are not going to come from 10% of the world's population. They're not even going to come from 50% of the world's population. They are only going to come when every single young person has the opportunity that all of you have had here today to present your ideas, your expertise, your solutions for what it is that the world needs in this moment. So all that I can say is to just leave you with the fact that it was incredibly inspiring to see the linkages to the Sustainable Development Goals, to see you bringing these to life in the way that you have, and to really encourage you to continue, because there are going to be challenges, there's going to be obstacles for many of you, but please be confident that what you are doing is so important, not just for you, not just for your community, but for the greater global solutions that we need. And so really just want to encourage all of you to continue your work, continue being the inspirations that you really are. And congratulations to all of you for today. Thank you.
Fantastic, Nala. Thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant and such a fantastic way to end this demo day. And before we end, I once again wanted to thank all of the sponsors. Without your contribution and your support, this would not be happening. This hackathon experience, this distributed hackathon, was offered completely for free to everyone. And the only way we can do this is when we have a strong support from the industry. But at the same time, this hackathon would not have happened without the incredible lead organizers. We had 19 volunteers from all over the world who offered to bring this experience to their communities. And you have been absolutely incredible and a real joy to work with. As we iterate and improve our trainings and our product, we are working with you to make sure that we can create an even better experience next time. So our next hackathon will happen in March. And this will be to celebrate International Women's Day. So we want to see even more girls from all over the world joining us to learn about AI, about ethics, and about how they can contribute to making the world a better place. So we will definitely be in touch and let you know what challenges we will be offering. But also, before I end, mentors and speakers who come to inspire and support teams on every step of the journey. It was incredible to have your support, and least of all, also the teenagers themselves and the parents. We often have, parents who may not really appreciate the opportunities this career brings to kids, but we have had the support from parents who have supported their children on their journey. And that's also very important, because as a mom, I do really appreciate that, all of your support for your children. So thank you so much to everyone who joined us today and on this entire journey. We hope to see all of you in March. So please do tune in, and we hope to work with all of you to see an even bigger campaign. This time we want to really expand to 30 countries, maybe next time to 50 countries. And the idea is to really expand this to as many countries and cities as we possibly can. So in Syria, we had 5 cities. I want to see 10 cities this time, and in other countries as well. So the more we can engage, because there is definitely a place for everyone. Everyone's voices are needed and need to be heard in the conversations on AI and technology. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, judges, once again for your time. We'll continue the conversations offline, and if there is any other support you could offer to these incredible teams, they will be welcome. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, and night, and we will reunite online. So wanted to also thank my incredible team. They're all on the call, and every single one of them had a function. So Christina, Tariq, Theodora, Lucy, who's with me in Vegas and listening to this on YouTube. You've all been incredible supporting this whole project. We're a very small team based in Copenhagen, London, Cambridge. Theodora is based in Edinburgh, also studying and marketing everything that's been happening. So without the support of my team, this definitely would not be happening. So the team is strong, and we will make it even better next time in March. So thank you so much for all the support, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.